A story that we have talked about several times, and we've had Robert Fife on a few times. Robert Fife broke the story in the Globe and Mail, going back now, it would seem a long time ago, but the story continues to evolve, or maybe I should say devolve. We're finding out now, again, based on reporting by Robert Fife, Trudeau government facing new criticism for redacting some of the records they provided to the public inquiry investigating foreign interference in our elections here in Canada. So I thought we'd pick up on that and try to figure out exactly what's happening and why. Mr. Fife, welcome back. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
Let me begin with this whole idea of this is not it's not public dissemination here. This is for a panel looking into this, for a judge appointed to. Why is the government doing this, in your opinion?
Well, that's a very good question. And let's set the stage here. When the public inquiry was called, and this is a judicial inquiry headed by a Quebec Court of Appeal judge who has been given all the security clearances that would be necessary, including her legal staff. The public safety minister, Dominic LeBlanc, said that they would have access to all secret documents and all relevant cabinet documents. And we know that the Canadian Security Intelligence Service is providing them with everything. And now it's turned out that the government promise of giving them everything is actually not true. That of 33,000 cabinet documents provided to the government, 9% of those, which is roughly about 3,000, have been redacted. So we don't know what was said in those because they've been blacked out. And an undisclosed number of other cabinet documents will not be shared with them. And this is a very serious thing because the whole point of this inquiry is to determine what the Liberal government knew about Chinese state interference in the federal election in 2019 and 2021, and what did they do about it? Did they ignore it because it benefited them, or did they take it seriously? The evidence so far, we've seen that they don't seem to have taken it very seriously, but was it raised at the level at the cabinet table or in documents presented to cabinet that that China was favoring the Liberals over the Conservatives, which is what the CSIS documents had found? And if so, what did they do about it? Now, I'm not saying we don't know, because we don't know what was redacted and we don't know what documents are being withheld, but it raises the question, what are they hiding?
I think that's the obvious question, is what are they hiding? And by the way, we should point out, I know when your own sort of service, when CSIS, right, and a judge, as you said, who's basically been, cleared here to view this kind of information, can't even get the information. I mean, all that does is actually ask that question, doesn't it? What have they got to hide here, despite the fact that the public safety minister said, no, we'll give you everything and access to anything and anything that you need, says one thing and does another.
Yeah, and look, this is really serious to me. This is a judge, for heaven's sakes, who has, throughout this inquiry, has acted incredibly responsibly, and frankly, so have all the lawyers, including the lawyers for the political parties and the diaspora groups, have been very, very, very good in how they've handled all of this sort of stuff. And they haven't made it partisan. They haven't tried to exploit things, because this is a serious issue, right? I mean, this is a very serious issue where countries feel that they can interfere in our democratic processes. And the fact that the government let on that they were going to give the Commission everything, and now it turns out that there are at least 3,000 redactions that the Commission cannot see, and goodness knows an untold number of other cabinet documents that the Commission has not been able to see. And look, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure this out. If they're not willing to provide somebody who has all the security clearances in the world, who is a highly respected judge, and all of her counsel who are sworn to secrecy so they can see these kind of documents, and nothing has ever leaked out of that Commission report, why wouldn't they share that information?
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to that, but I think you and your listeners can figure that out on your own.
I wonder if this is a case where the government, clearly with something, I'm going to say, but you said it before, clearly with something to hide here by virtue of what they've not turned over, is just trying to run out the clock on this one.
Yeah, they could be, because it's a very limited time frame, as you know. This summer they're down. The commission is down. They come back in the fall, where they're going to hear from diaspora groups and other people about what can be done to combat foreign interference. And they have to have a report in by the end of December. So there isn't a lot of time here. And I don't disagree with you that running out the clock might be a strategy here.
I would ask one other thing, and again, you obviously can't confirm this. I've heard a lot of people now speculating, and this was the case at the beginning, maybe a little more so now, that this may have more to do with the two Michael situation than just about anything else. Is there any validity to that, do you think?
Well, no, not now. Would there be? Why would there be now? I mean, the Michaels are back. So anything that might have had to do with the Michaels could have been released and could be put in context. So this makes no sense. I don't understand the rationale for the two Michaels at all. I mean, no, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, it's been brought up. That's why I'm bringing it up as well. Yes, It was a long time ago. We think it's resolved. Maybe there's something, then again, maybe we'll never know, that was covered up that we didn't know what was happening at the time, but I guess we're not going to find that out.
Look, we know that the Canadian government at the time did not want to do anything that would annoy China.
Right.
It put the Michaels at risk here. But this is a different issue here. This is, Chinese state interference in the 2019-2021 election campaigns. And if, in fact, there are cabinet conversations, they say that, we don't want to make this too public because of the Michaels. There's no reason why we can't say that. I mean, right. That's understandable to you or me. But if there's cabinet documents that say, hey, this benefits us, so why should we do anything about this? Because they're going after the Conservatives, and it's going to benefit us in heavily Chinese Canadian ridings. Why should we even do anything about it, right? I mean, there's a big distinction between the two, right? I mean, we would all respect the fact that the Canadian government doesn't want to make a big stink of something because of the Michaels. That's fine. We understand that, and there's nothing that's totally defensible. But what's the reason to hide that? I mean, there's no reason to hide that.
Yeah, fair enough. I would ask one last thing, and again, it's speculation. Given what we now know, given this story's come out based on your reporting here, is there any way, does anyone get to twist the government's arm on this and force them to come up with this information?
Well, not really. It would be up to the opposition parties to, make this a major issue. Yeah. I mean, the judge, Og, is not going to do that. She's and her people are obviously pressing the government to provide them with the information. But, a sitting judge is not going to be in a situation where they're going to, make this a big issue with the government. I mean, they're trying to get the information, but that's just not what public inquiries do.
Right, not their job. Right. Mr. Fife, I appreciate your time as always. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Robert Fife at the Globe and Mail. Again, this foreign interference situation not resolving itself. What do you say, 3,000 redactions in the documents they turned over, and some documents not turned over at all to the judge?